As a boy growing up in human society, my relationship to my sexuality and my sexual desires has been a difficult one. From an early age, I got the message that this part of me was somehow taboo, somehow dysfunctional, somehow this thing that I had to keep secret. And at the same time, it created this inner conflict inside of me because as I went through puberty, this was this flowering or blossoming of this desire, this creative potential, this exciting part of myself that I wanted to express as I discovered pleasure and women, and really because the lack of education that I received around this and the fact that my parents were kind of awkward and it was kind of this sensitive topic, it really led me to getting that education that I was longing for in the only way that was available to me at the time, which was through pornography. And unfortunately, I think so many men in our generation, and I'm sure if you've clicked on this video that you can relate to that, this deep longing to express this aspect of yourself and coming into direct conflict with the awkwardness and the sort of shamefulness of this part of us that gets kind of like suppressed in a certain way by society. It's sort of delegated or pushed into the shadow. And so this has actually created a split within me for most of my life. And I've seen this time and time and time again in men that I've worked with in coaching or that have joined one of my courses, is that men have a difficult relationship to sex. And because of that, they have a difficult, somehow split or fragmented relationship with themselves. And this came up for me even this morning, even after many years of doing this work with myself and, studying sacred sexuality and practicing with my sexual energy and going into the places that I'm most afraid to admit my fears and the deepest, darkest desires that exist inside of me. I still have insecurities. I still have sensitivities. And I was having a conversation with my partner this morning, and there was a triggering thing that happened. We were sort of getting intimate in a certain way, and I created a little bit of pressure. We were kind of bantering and playing around with each other. She expressed a certain desire, and then all of a sudden we hit this place where we were suddenly both kind of triggered, and then we started arguing. And it's so easy to fall into that. It's so complicated. It's a part of us that has so many layers that are sort of conditioned in large part by the education that I got as a young man through pornography, and that kind of reinforced this wrongness or this feeling of shame that I hold around my desires and my fantasies and my longings, and a struggle. These birds are beautiful out here. And a struggle to really articulate myself, and a struggle to express my insecurities. And I think it's such a shame somehow, like it's so unfortunate, because life is sex, like all of these organisms that I'm surrounded by in the forest and wherever we see life, it's an emergent phenomenon from which sex is an integral part. Like it wouldn't exist without sex. Nature is fucking itself constantly. And so are humans. We're fucking ourselves and each other constantly. And so it's one of the most natural things that exists. It's one of the most fundamental activities of life. And so it has there's an urge that exists inside of us. It's an evolutionary emergent urge that causes us to want to engage sexually. And so there's something sacred in that, is there not? I mean, when I look at nature, the thing that I'm left with is awe and wonder and like a deep appreciation for the fucking magnificent beauty of it. And so why is it that when it comes to sexual relationships or sexual activity in human society, that we have such an awkward, dysfunctional, disowned kind of relationship to it? It's kind of funny when you think about it like that, isn't it? Like, why can't we simply express our desires openly, just like nature does? Why can't we hold this part of us with a deep reverence for the beauty of it and to celebrate it with our chosen love or with potential partners that we choose to engage with and enjoy pleasure with? And so I think a large part of my work and my own evolution over the last decade of examining this part of myself has been to expose the blind spots and the shadows and the cultural kind of taboos and conditioning that I've held around my sexuality, and to somehow liberate that. And one of the ways that I do that is I talk about it. I'm pretty open. I share a lot online, and I share a lot with people in my life about my struggles. And in doing that, I'm taking it out of the shadow and bringing it into the light, where it can be seen, it can be looked at, it can be processed, and I can get perspective on it. And I can develop a healthy relationship to it. And at the same time, I know that that can be an extreme edge for a lot of you guys. Maybe if you're listening to this right now, the thought of telling someone that you struggle with sex, or that you have insecurities, or that you have an addiction to porn, or you struggle with premature ejaculation, or sometimes your cock doesn't get hard when you want it to, that's pretty edgy. And yet, what we resist persists, and if we don't talk about it, if we can't confront it in some way, then it's extremely difficult to find the healing that we need. And so if this resonates with you, if it speaks to you in some way, just know that you're not alone. Like so many men, and I've talked to thousands of men at this stage who struggle with this kind of thing, and the first step is admitting that you have a problem. It's confronting the parts of you that are afraid. It's owning the things that aren't working. And only then can we actually start to face what's wrong and actually start finding solutions to the problems that we might be up against. So if this resonates and if it lands with you, I've got some resources which you might find really interesting. I've got a free guide called The Legendary Lover Blueprint. You'll find a link to that below. And I have an online course, and I coach and mentor men around sexuality and intimacy, and help them to actually open up and expose this part of themselves so that they can actually face it and overcome the limitations that they're experiencing. And what I've noticed in my own life is it's been one of the most beautiful things that I've ever committed to, because not only has it completely redefined the relationship with myself, I've started to hold myself and see myself with so much more love, so much more acceptance, so much more beauty, even the parts of myself that don't work necessarily the way that I want them to, or that I'm still working on. It's such a beautiful unfolding of the relationship with myself, and it's taken me into some really deep places, and it's completely redefined the way that I approach intimacy, the way that I approach my relationship, the way that I approach my woman and my lover and make love to her. And that has been just an overwhelmingly profound gift. And I really want to see men thriving in this area of their life. I want to see them owning their sexual power, claiming their desires as their needs, and not feeling ashamed of that, showing up in their full sexual glory and being able to express themselves and direct that sexual energy towards everything that they want to create in their life. Because when that energy is repressed and suppressed, your life is repressed and suppressed. Your relationship won't thrive and it won't function on all cylinders. Your business and your creativity will be under a glass ceiling because there's a part of you that you believe is wrong, dysfunctional, disgusting, or shameful. And as I've mapped the different areas of my life, I've learned that everything is connected. Every area of our life has relationship with other areas of our life. And so if you notice there's a blockage, if there's like a kink in the hose at some point, one of the highest leverage moves is pinpointing that, focusing on it with dedication and with perseverance and with attention to unblock that thing so that the energy can flow more freely and more naturally in the way that nature intended. And then your ecosystem, your part of the whole system that is you starts to thrive, and it starts to grow, and it starts to have a symbiotic relationship with the ecology that's around you, the ecology of your relationship, the ecology of your business, the ecology of your community. When men are lit up and aligned and they love themselves, that's the kind of medicine that this world needs. So I hope you like this message. I hope it resonates with you. I hope it leaves you feeling a glimmer of hope somehow, that part of you that you've been told is wrong is actually fucking sacred. It's beautiful, and you deserve to have it fully expressed. And if you want to learn more about that, and you're experiencing sort of dysfunction in this area, I've made a ton of videos on these topics. You might like to check this one out here to learn even more.